When it comes to calibrating drain drills, the first place to start is the owner's manual. You can open it up and there'll be a chart in there for wheat. That's typically what a drill is used for. But there'll be charts also for soybeans, for milo, for a variety of crops. When it comes to our cover crops, a lot of times we're using a cover crop mix. There might be 5, 8, 10, 15 things in the mix, depending upon who's put it together and what the resource concern is they're addressing with the mix. I myself like a couple of warm season grasses, a couple of cool season grasses, a couple of warm season legumes, a couple of cool season legumes. And the reason I do a warm and cool is in the heat of the summer, the warms grow nice. That first frost comes, the warm season stuff dies and the cool season takes over. Then I also like to throw in a couple of brassicas for good taproot, a couple of flowering plants to keep our bees and pollinators happy. And then when it comes to all that, I throw in what I call a couple of fun ones, a couple of ones that aren't on the list. And for me, a fun one, a lot of times is okra. But when it comes to like the flowering ones, I use flax and buckwheat, sunflowers. So again, I get a wide variety out there to address many resource concerns. Fix some nitrogen, grow some residue, feed the bees, keep everything going in the system. Now again, when you're calibrating, if I open up the owner's manual and it says wheat, I know how to set the drill. I open it up and it says soybeans, I know how to set the drill. Well, there is no page that says 12-way mix. That's where I do a couple of things. I've got a scale here that weighs fairly accurately, and I've got some cloth bags. And I'll simply take a seed tube off of the drill, tie a bag on there, and plant a predetermined distance. Now, I'm used to 30-inch rows. On 30-inch rows, if I'm going to do a stand count for corn, I'll measure off 17.4 feet. That's 1,000th of an acre. If I count 30 plants, that's 30,000 plants per acre. Now, on a drill, I'm catching the seed. And 1,000th of an acre is not much. So I'll go 174 feet. It's 100th of an acre if I was on 30-inch rows. Now, my drill is 7.5-inch rows. So whatever I collect in this bag and weigh, I'll multiply by 4 to equal a 30-inch row. If I've got a drill on 10-inch rows, like a lot of producers do, multiply by 3. And so that gives me the total pounds of seed on 100th of an acre, move the decimal point over, and I know how many pounds of seed I've put out of that cover crop mix. Now, if it's below my goal or above my goal, all I do is adjust my population accordingly, try it again. Now, usually what I'll do is take 2 bags, one on each end of the drill. That way I don't have a skip in the middle of the pass. On the end of the drill, when you come back next time, you may or may not have a skip, depending on how accurately you drive. But again, some people say you need to check more than 2. When it comes to cover crop, 2 is enough in my opinion. Now, if I was seeding corn, I'd probably want to check more rows because corn, you're going for yield. Cover crop, I'm going for cover. On every drill, there's owner's manual, and they're supposed to be kept on the implement. The worst place to have it is in the desk drawer back in the office. But on this crustbuster drill, for instance, when you come in here to the seeding rate charts, there's oats, pinto beans, rice, rye, soybeans. And so this drill, for instance, tells you different sprocket combinations to use and different settings on the slot, they call it on the drill. Every drill is a little bit different, so check your owner's manual. It'll tell you how to calibrate it. But again, that's the single species. Soybeans there, wheat here. So again, when it comes to the single species, excellent starting point. Right now I got it 5/8 open. So each time it rotates, it'll dump in that amount of seed.
Okay.
Now, to get the higher seeding rate, you just turn it faster or slower. Now, you set that for the size of your seed. If I set it at 5/8 and I was putting something small in like alfalfa, it'd just pour out. So that's when you set it down to 1/4 or 1/8 or whatever. And so that gives you the size of the seed. Then the sprockets over there give you the speed at which it rotates. I like the crustbuster drill for that because you can set it for what size of seed you have. So many drills are just a little feed cup, and it takes the same little volume no matter what seed it is.
But this one you can
Set it for the size of your seed. Go by the book.
Go by the book.
Go by the book. And actually what you want to do is you want that slot opened up about 1.5 times the seed diameter. If it's too tight, the seeds won't fall in. If it's too big, multiple seeds fall in. And so again, that slot, wobble slot, as crustbuster calls it, I love it for seed metering. I stopped here with the drill still in the ground because when it comes to checking the drill performance, we see a little bit of soil disturbance here simply because it was quite wet. Also, it's a small plot, so I was traveling a little slower. The faster I go, the less soil is going to be thrown up like this. But what I want to check is my seeding depth to get the seed down in good moisture. I did today because it rained last week. But I checked to make sure that I'm cutting the residue. My disc opener in the drill is doing that, cutting the residue nicely. Second step, planting, is penetrate soil desired seeding depth. It's doing that quite nicely because it is moist. Now, if it was dry and hard, I might need extra down pressure. Well, the springs are built into the drill where you can tighten them up to get more down pressure, pushing down on the opener. The unfortunate thing is by the time you push 24 openers in the ground, it's lifting the rest of the drill up. And so we have to add some weight to the drill, perhaps. On the front of this drill, I have front end suitcase weights that belong on a tractor. They're on this drill to add weight. I've got markers. I'm not running the markers today, but the markers in the frame adds weight. How do you know if you have enough weight or down pressure? I can honestly say, I don't know. Yeah, check it for your seeding conditions. Plant like this, stop with it in the ground, and you check if you're penetrating desired seeding depth, your depth control device should be in firm contact with the ground. My depth control device in this drill, opener is here, depth control is the press wheel and back. It's in firm contact with the ground, I can just barely slip it. That one's a little looser. Barely slip it. You want to just barely slip it. If you cannot budge it at all, you might be overpacking the soil, especially if it's wet. You can cause some sidewall compaction or overpack the seed, can't get seedling roots out. If I spin it freely, I may not be planting the desired seeding depth and I may not be getting seed to soil contact. So right now I feel pretty good the way it's set. With the rain last week, it's pretty easy to do this. If it hadn't rained, I can almost guarantee there's not enough down pressure. I would have had to fill that tank full of water. 150 gallons of water adds a lot more weight for those springs to work against. So again, we cut the residue with the disc opener, penetrate the soil, desired seeding depth. That's where the weight comes important. Now we establish seed to soil contact to close the seed V. This drill does both with the press wheel and back. Seed to soil contact, you're pressing on the seed, the side of the wheel collapses it around. Some drills will do it separately. They got a seed press wheel and a closing wheel and back or something similar. So again, check it for your seeding device. Cut, penetrate, seed to soil contact, close the seed V. How did I do? I don't know. One of the most important tools to carry is not the hammer. It is a digging tool. I dig crosswise on the seed furrow. The reason being is if you kick a seed out, you know approximately where it came from. I know too many farmers who think it's easy to dig like this. If you do that and you kick a seed out, you don't know where it came from. For those who have gotten up inside and looked, I've got a cardboard divider that isolates the middle two rows. The middle two rows, when we plant a cover crop, we can see where to drive in our wheat stubble because the wheat stubble is short. If the cover crop goes up tall like this, it does this, you can't see where the gap is. So by putting a divider in there, these two rows, I plant only a short cover crop. In the short cover crop mix I have this year, it's got some foxtail millet in it, some buckwheat, some peas, some soybeans. So it's all short stuff. The rest of the rows will get the tall stuff. And that tall stuff might be, for me, it's sorghum sudan and a millet for my warm season grasses. Cool season grass, usually oats. Warm season broadleaf, like mung beans, soybeans. Cool season broadleaf, peas, my brassicas. I got African cabbage, common rape. For flowering plants, I got buckwheat, flax, sunflower. Those all grow up, most of them grow tall. Next spring, when our farm manager comes out here, he knows exactly where to drive. The short marked rows are center of his pass, the rest of it is cover. And over winter, all that tall stuff gets knocked down anyway by the snow.
typically in southeast Nebraska, we don't have enough growing season for a true double crop cash crop. So one of our treatments in here, we just planted soybeans, also have milo, two common crops for southeast Nebraska, sunflowers and safflowers. They're a shorter season crop, warm season crops, should grow in the heat of the summer, require a little bit less water, may or may not have a market close by. And we're looking at a forage mix. Forage mix doesn't have to make maturity. It'll be harvested by either livestock grazing it, or we can chop it or bale it, haul it off as a forage. But the forage mix then gives us opportunity if you have livestock in the operation or know someone who does. Or as we know some people who don't have livestock, their neighbor does. And the neighbor is looking for some grazing lands as their pasture and rangeland are not performing very well later in the season, running out of water. It gives pasture and rangeland recovery time if I can bring them out here to graze, for instance. When it comes to summer cover crops into wheat stubble, actually when it comes to any cover crop, I like planting the cover crop the day the harvester leaves the field. When I put the cover crop seed in the ground, the soil moisture is in the soil since the cash crop matured is here to germinate the cover crop. Now, if we had, say, a week of 100-degree heat with 30-mile-an-hour winds, this top layer would dry out. Now when I plant the cover crop seed, I'd be putting the seed in dry soil. So seed the cover crop as quick as you can after the cash crop was harvested. The other thing is, if you seed as soon as you can, Mother Nature feels less pressure to grow weeds. Mother Nature hates bare soil. Take a look at your lawn, your garden, any field. If you got a bare spot, you get weeds. Well, if I got a cover crop growing here, there's less chance for weeds to grow. In fact, since we started using cover crops in our wheat stubble, we've almost eliminated volunteer wheat. The cover crop grows, and Mother Nature doesn't have to start the volunteer wheat growing. The other thing is the volunteer wheat seed's laying on the soil surface. Mice, rodents, bugs, everything else can eat that seed. My seed's placed in the ground. It's safe there. So I like putting the cover crop seed in the ground. Now, some of our clients out there, it's quick and easy to use a dry fertilizer spreader or an airplane or something just to broadcast the cover crop seed. Now I'm exposed to those bugs, rodents, and so on. Worse yet, that top layer is going to dry out real fast. I like to put the seed in the ground and make sure it's growing. Now, if I got irrigation, maybe I can water the cover crop up. Again, that adds to the cost. I like to put the seed in the ground, get good seed to soil contact.